Hello, welcome back again, YouTube world. So today I'm doing number 7, adjusting to a different pace of life. So one of the most noticeable shifts when moving from the UK to a foreign country like Italy, where I am currently now, is the dramatic different rhythm of daily life. So some people, you would say, quite like this way of life, but this is one of the things, again, this is why I'm doing these top 10 points for people to really think about, really, before making big life-changing, drastic change to your life. Since being here in Italy, I have come to discover a lot about myself, really, what I do and don't like in general anyway. I've been on self-discovery mission since about 2000 about myself, my mental health, the way I think about things, what go on in my mind, and all sorts of million and one different things. But living here in Italy just has highlighted a lot of things about myself that I just can't change, really. They're just so embedded in me, in myself. It's quite hard for me to change. So this is one of the major things that making it hard for me to live here in Italy, which subsequently is not good for my mental health. So the rhythm of daily life. People say, it says here in my notes, it says Italy runs on a more relaxed way of life, often unpredictable timeline. It can be a slower pace. It can feel like a dream at first, but it soon starts to test your patience, especially if you're used to the UK's more structured and time-sensitive culture. Breaking that down, I think I've mentioned in one of my previous videos, just a simple thing like, for instance, what's the time now? It's 1:10 in the afternoon, and I've just been out briefly this morning. My daughter and the missus have gone off to one of my daughter's school friends' birthday party. So over here in Italy, this is also a cultural difference. A lot of parties, kids parties, they're just having a local park. All the kids can run around, play on the climbing frame, and the adults basically just stand around talking. Now, it's that time of the year. It's the 3rd of May today, and I think I said in my previous video, it's outside, it's scorcho. It's like an English summer type weather. It's hot. And not just warm, it's hot. It's another thing that I'll move on to as an additional point after I've done the first 10 points I've done. So we've just been in this park. It's quite warm. A lot of the time you'll find in Italy especially, they just cut the tops off of trees a lot of the time. I think really the only way I can understand it is just because of their laziness, and they don't want to have to keep cutting the trees every couple of months. It gets to a certain point where they just basically just chop all the top of the tree off. So you'll find that a lot of these places in these parks, you just don't have any shade anywhere. It's just constant heat, basically, that you're trying to deal with. So adjusting to a different pace of life, I mean, it gets to a point where it's lunchtime now, so shops will have closed. Like at the same in Spain, it's like siesta time. So the whole of the afternoon, you'll find that all the local news agents are closed. They go home for some lunch and then they go for a sleep. And this is one of the things that I can't deal with, like I'd like to just go out maybe to go get a ice lolly or ice cream, and you just can't. You're stuck inside. Again, I think I mentioned in my previous video, I'd see this place where we live now, this apartment, as a prison cell. It gets so hot outside that you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything, you can't get into the car and just go to like some nice nature reserve or just go on a little family outing, because it's just so hot. Everyone's basically just stuck inside in their prison cell, and then it gets to about 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, and then everyone comes out. I mean, when you're in holiday mode, you don't have a problem with it. You want to go out in the evenings. But when thinking back to when I was in London or just back in the UK. You tend to think about going to my parents or something. You'd probably get there about 11 o'clock in the morning, spend the whole afternoon round at your parents in the garden, have something in the evening, some kind of an evening meal. By about 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, you're in a car. When you've got children, you're in a car basically on the way home, just to get your feet up and just to relax and chill out in front of the TV for the rest of the evening. So you would expect like about 8, 9 o'clock, you'll be at home getting the kids to bed, and then you're just splat out in front of the TV. Here it's just completely different. A lot of the time, most people get up really, really early. They'll be off to the market or the shops first thing in the morning before they all then close at lunchtime. Then you have everyone comes home and has some lunch, then they're all splat out for the afternoon, and then 4 or 5 o'clock, everyone decides that they're going to go out. At that time, me as an English person, this is one of the things that I've found out about myself. I can't physically wait until 9 o'clock every night to have evening meal. My whole body is just set up and adapted over 47 years of my life that around anything between 5 to 7 o'clock in the evening, I'll be eating my evening meal. And then after that, you've got plenty of time to do stuff. And thinking back to the days before I had kids, I would literally come home from work, say 5:30. I'd be eating my dinner between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. Let's think about a Friday night, for instance. You'd come back, you'd have your dinner at 5:30, 6 o'clock. By 7 o'clock, you're in the pub with your mates on a Friday night for the rest of the evening until, 11:30, 12 o'clock, and then you're back home with your kebab and then falling asleep. For me, I don't like the way everything all just closes in the afternoon and you're basically stuck in your house with a child that's bouncing off the walls that just wants to go to the park, and you can't go out to the park because it's just so goddamn hot outside. We in England, we just have this very structured and time sensitive culture, as it says here in my list. The next bullet point I have here is domani. Again, I've said this another one of my points. Domani doesn't always mean tomorrow. So domani in Italian, it literally means tomorrow, but in practice it often translates as not today or even eventually. So you'll hear it used in everything from bureaucratic offices to home repairs. It can be incredibly frustrating when you're trying to get things done. What might take one call or a couple of days in the UK could stretch into weeks in Italy. They're not that fussed. At a weekend and you want to do a bit of DIY, and you just kind of think to yourself, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I need this type of screws. It's not as if you can just get in your car, go to your local B&Q here and just go and get the screws that you need. You basically just got to wait until like 5 o'clock in the evening to go out to the shops, and it's just one of those things that annoys me. And you just always got to be overly prepared for everything here. You can't just pop out like in England. You just like say to the missus, I'm just popping out to go get some milk. You have to plan all of these things. You have to plan that you have to get up early in the morning and go to the supermarket. And as I say, everyone does exactly the same thing here. They're all like robots. They all get up, they're all in the supermarket, and it's just chaos. It's not like an organised chaos as it is in England. It's just people walking across people in their trolleys. I just can't deal with it. I've said numerous times, I've discovered that it's just not me. It's just not how I really picture the rest of my life. So I'm in this ultimate predicament of, what do? Do I just up sticks and just leave the missus and my child here and run off back to England? So this goes back to the whole reason I'm doing this, is because I see all these people complaining about England and they're all running off to other foreign countries. So this is my take on having not run away. I mean, I've basically taken kicking and screaming. I'd never really wanted to leave the UK. I'd be quite happy to still be there now, even with the chaos that's going on there now. I mean, I'd have to put things in my ears and over my eyes a lot of the time living at my parents, because they're literally glued 24/7, not 24/7 because obviously they've got sleep, but they're just glued to the TV on news all the time. It's just constant. It would be constant news about Donald Trump, constant news about Nigel Farage, and things that just drive me absolutely insane. But I would quite happily just be there. I'll just happily sit there with headphones in my bedroom doing creative stuff. On the odd occasion, I could just think about, right, I want to go jump in the car, go for a cruise around some nice country lanes with some tunes on, with the windows open, the wind blowing in, stop off at a newsagent's, go and get myself a Calippo, go to my local park, just walking around my local recce, basically it's called. That's what we used to call it when we were younger, a recce. So it was just a vast amount of green space that I could just cruise around and just think about things and just chillax, sit in the middle of the park, have the sun come down on me, get my vitamin D. You can't do that here at all. It's so hot, so scorcho. If you go out for 15 odd minutes, you basically just want to actually be back in your prison cell. Let's get back to my list here again, my bullet points. Many small businesses, local shops, even government offices close for several hours in the afternoon, typically between 1 and 4 p.m. for rest time. This isn't just for lunch, it's a cultural tradition. While it promotes work-life balance, it can be inconvenient if you're trying to run errands or get something done during a typical work day. I just find it quite irritating. In those hours there after lunch, I literally have about half hour's rest, but then I would just want to crack on and do stuff. My whole anxiety, I kind of mildly had anxiety disorder when I was in the UK. It was nothing compared to when I've got here. I think the word is neurodivergence or something. But yesterday we went to our local shopping centre, Porta de Roma. It's like a Westfield type place. It's got all your big H&M's and JD Sports all in this great big shopping centre. But I have panic attacks and massive anxiety attacks when I go in there because there's just so many people in there, chaos, the language, the lights beating down on me, my child going absolutely hyperactive and crazy and everything. Literally within 5 minutes of me being there, I want to go. I don't want to be there. It was kind of the same with me this morning at this party. As much as I saw a couple of people that I know that speak well enough English for me to have a brief conversation with them, I don't want to be there because everyone is there just talking Italian around me and I just feel out of place. I don't feel at home or at ease. I just prefer to just come home and be here and crack on with doing something creative. I've gone severely off piste again for my points, but this is basically what my page is about. It's just kind of me ranting, just trying to get things out of my head so I don't explode. So yeah, going back again, I mean, this is kind of repeating stuff that's in other videos about slow processes, whether it's setting up utilities, applying for residency or getting a driver's license. Things that take time, lots of waiting involved. I didn't really have much of that when I was in the UK. The processes used to really piss me off when I was in the UK, but in hindsight, having come to here, it's ultimately what I'll say about all of these 10 points is by all means run away from the UK, go to other countries, but you will discover things and you will start to realise that actually the UK isn't really that bad. It does have problems, but so do so many other countries. I mean, I will be doing videos hopefully next week about people that have moved to Portugal, people that have moved to Thailand, and the dark sides basically of, I've seen lots of videos of people that have gone to Dubai and they just decided, no, it's just not for them. You see Dubai, it looks amazing. And a lot of these videos, they do say, yeah, it's amazing, it's clean and tidy, but there's these things, these little bits and bobs that you will start to understand. It's just not for us, it's not our way of life. So as an English person, you've got to really think about these things and whether or not you're going to be adaptable enough to just foxtrot Oscar to another way of life. I mean, a lot of the people that have gone to Thailand and Bali and such like seem to be all single people. They don't have kids that they have to look after. They're all in the right place. If I'd have done that in my 20s instead of wasting my 20s trying to be in a band and with loads of other people that are basically drug addicts and alcoholics, then maybe I wouldn't be in this state. Might have some money saved away to actually buy a nice villa here, not in Rome. I'd go to somewhere like Florence, just in the middle of the countryside, no hustle and bustle, just a more calm and chilled and relaxed lifestyle. But that's not what I've found here in Rome. It's another city at the end of the day, and it has its own issues just as much as London has. London has all these issues. I keep seeing all these videos of people showing the homeboys of the streets fighting knives and stuff in the middle of the street. You still get that here in Rome. I mean, it's the immigrants. I've seen a video this morning actually of there's a guy, I'm probably going to do an episode on it in itself, but there's a guy, an Italian guy, that goes around with his camera basically just showing how certain parts of Rome are just no-go areas because it's just immigrants and it's just fights and violence and everything's just destroyed, just places that you don't want to go. So there's a video I was watching this morning of just these black dudes just throwing empty beer bottles at all the locals, and they were just, I don't know if they were just off their heads on something, been sniffing glue or something, but they were just screwed. So it happens everywhere. I mean, even if you would go to Bali, you will find that there's a dark underbelly as well, even in Bali. I've got a great epic episode that I want to do. I'm basically just going to be reviewing some of the videos that I've seen of other people that have gone to Thailand and Bali. That's one that will be coming up. I hope to do that maybe next week. I want to get all of these top 10s out of the way so I can continue. I've got a whole load of them lined up here, all these different tabs open of all these different videos that I just want to go through and look at. So let's look at this last thing here. The relaxed pace might seem romantic at first, but it can quickly become a source of stress, especially if you're trying to juggle work or family life in the meantime. A double-edged sword, frustrating and freeing. Slower pace of life isn't all bad. In fact, it is one of the reasons many people move to Italy in the first place. There's a greater emphasis on living in the moment, enjoying long meals, spending time with family, and not rushing through life. Now, see, I'll quickly go on to that. I don't like the whole, the whole Britishness of me. I like to organise things. I don't like people coming and buzzing on my buzzer just randomly out of the blue and just saying, all right, I've just passed by, do you want to go for an aperitivo? It pisses me off. I get up and I plan things through. I kind of think, I'm going to do this today, I'm going to do that, I want to get this done, I want to get that done. I don't like people coming and interrupting me and basically saying, oh, come on, forget all of that, all of the stuff that you've planned. Let's go and just sit and talk rubbish in a cafe. That's the thing, they don't talk about anything meaningful. A lot of it's just stuff that is just fluff, that you just think, I've not learned anything from this exchange, it's just wasted my time that I could have been learning something, actually physically learning something. So yeah, I don't like this, living for the moment. My girlfriend went out the other day and with my daughter and ended up having an aperitivo, and then she just phoned me out of the blue and said, oh, I'm here with Claudia and so you come down here. And I'm like, no, I've already said to you, I want to get, while you're out of the house, I want to get these videos done. I need to get this done. I need to get that done. And perfect time, when they go out for me to try and get stuff done that just builds up to the point that can you see that I'm stressed in my face right now? I'm just stressed all the time. As I say, they'll come back later on and it would just be screaming and shouting and it would just be a mess. So this is my time now. I need me time to not explode. And I imagine, what's that film called? The one with Kirk Douglas? When he basically goes mental and he just goes, I can't even remember, does he go around shooting everyone up, or he loses it anyway? He has a bit of a breakdown and he's just, does it start with something to do with he wants a soda or something? I can't even remember, but that's how I feel most days, in all honesty. I just feel like at any stage I can completely snap. Now, truth be known, that basically I did kind of have a mild snap last night at my girlfriend. Not proud of it. I've apologised to her this morning. Basically, we were trying to, after a very stressful day with our daughter yesterday, we were basically trying to have our little moment, tiny little moment. We never get any moment, anything between us as a couple anymore. That's just completely dead. That's gone. So last night we had tried to have our little moment of just sitting down watching some TV, watching something on Netflix. And as always, 5 minutes into whatever we were watching, my girlfriend fell asleep. So I did say to her, I said, look, you're very tired. Why, she's not one of those people like, as an English person, most English people would say, oh, I'm quite tired. I think I might just get an early night tonight, or we're going to fall asleep watching the TV in bed or something. But my girlfriend just doesn't have that in her. It has to be on the sofa, and she just falls asleep. And I say to her, I say, look, you're very tired. You're just going to fall asleep. So can I just put something that I want to watch on? Because you're just going to fall asleep. So we ended up finding something that we were both going to watch, which was The Crown. I'm kind of half interested in watching it, but a lot not interested. I'd much rather watch some interesting sci-fi with lots of visual effects and stuff. That's what gets my mind ticking. Something futuristic. So yeah, she fell asleep. I ended up basically trying to put that on. Netflix kept crashing. So in the end, I ended up just watching YouTube on the TV. Anyway, she woke up and had an absolute meltdown and started going Italian at me. I'll just say it like that. She started going Italian at me. I basically, after a build-up of a whole day of stress, I snapped and picked up, basically we had a cardboard box next to us that had some old biscuits in it. It was just an empty cardboard box because we'd finished the biscuits. I basically launched the remote control onto the floor. I got up and I launched the cardboard box right into my girlfriend's face. And I basically said, shut the fuck up. I basically just stormed off to bed. So yeah, I can't even remember where I was up to again. So once you stop resisting it and learn to go with the flow of the rhythm of the slower lifestyle, it can be deeply rewarding. But as I say, I've come to discover that it's just not me. I mean, maybe once or twice, occasionally it's nice. Like it was nice to just go out for the half hour this morning for this party. But then I just need to get back here and just focus on stuff. Basically, I'm trying to do what all these other people on YouTube are doing, selling your digital products, starting your own online business, and that's basically what I'm trying to do, desperately trying to do. But you don't get these things done by just going for aperitivos every 5 minutes all the time. I just need to just vent into the camera, going to stick it into a quick editing program. I'm not even going to bother sticking any stuff over the top as much as I can do it. I then got to get onto another video that I'm doing of months of the year for my videos that I do with my daughter, and that's all basically what I'm doing. So that was episode, was it 7 of The Pace of Life in Foreign Countries. Potatoes.